Namaste. This is Ruben Vasquez with Simple Yoga with a very effective, simple and easy sequence to massage your spine in order to release tension, enhance flexibility, and improve mobility. Remember the simple yoga principles: conscious and deliberate movement. Explore your natural range of action, well-distributed movement. Avoid strain, struggle, and self-judgment. Do only what is within your control. Smile and enjoy the practice and its benefits. Start lying down on your back with your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. Let your torso relax and soften. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. There, move your pelvis from one side to the other a few times to find a place where your pelvis feels level, even on both sides. Then we'll start the movement of the lower torso, the lumbar spine, by moving the upper hip bones toward the floor to round your lower back and release tension, and then to gently arch the lower back away from the floor to release tension in the front of the hips and abdomen. Do this slowly, gradually, trying to keep your pelvis level as you do the movements. Nothing is forced, nothing is strained. Sometimes there may be a tendency to try to move too much in the arching, and that may create a sensation of pinching or squashing in the lower back. Avoid that. Instead, just move with curiosity, trying to notice what is the natural range of action for your lumbar spine, both in rounding and arching. Keep your breath continuous. And then find the place where your pelvis is neutral and your lower back neutral. Notice the effects of those movements. Then use your hands to bring your thighs towards center. Bring your knees to touch and walk your feet apart. Try to find a place where your pelvis is level in this configuration, and the movements are the same, rounding and arching of the lower back. Making the movement easy, smooth, but paying attention to notice how the sensations and the quality of the movements might be different with the knees together. Repeating and trying to feel as clearly as possible every part of the movement. Find the place where your pelvis is neutral, lower back neutral. Notice the effects. Separate your knees and bring your feet a little bit in so that the heels align with your sit bones. Even pelvis. And we'll do the same movement, but with the thighs parallel. So when you are ready, start rounding and arching your lower back toward the floor and away from the floor. Using these movements to release tension, to massage the abdominal area, and to create a healthy movement. Feeling, breathing, doing what you can without forcing. Notice how the movements may influence the quality of your breath. So the same movement with 3 different leg configurations may have slightly different effects, or the effects may be felt in slightly different places. Find a place where your pelvis can be neutral. Notice the effects in the whole lower torso area. And then we'll start the movement in the thoracic spine. The rib cage rounds toward the floor and gently arches away from the floor. The movement may be a little bit more restricted here since there are all the bones of the rib cage attached to the spine. The breastbone may also influence the quality of movement, collarbones and shoulder blades as well. Rounding and arching. Notice how the shoulders may move a little bit, but keep your shoulders relaxed. Feeling the sensations. Trying to make this as smooth and enjoyable as possible. Then find a place where your ribcage feels neutral. Then lift your arms up toward the ceiling. Press your armpits toward your hips a little bit to release tension from the top shoulders and do the same movement, but now with the arms in this position. Notice if that has any effect on the range of movement, quality of movement, sensations. Make sure that no part of the movement creates any pain or strain. Nothing is forced. Feeling the amount of movement that is available and keep the movement easy, simple, as effortless as it can be. Notice that repeating the same movement may make the movement feel slightly different every time. And take a moment to rest the rib cage and the arms on the floor, feeling the effects. Then lifting your arms up, bending your elbows. Forearms, elbows, palms of the hands can come together, forearms parallel to the floor, armpits pressed toward the hips. And in this arm configuration, the movement of the rib cage is the same, rounding and arching toward the floor and away from the floor. Feeling, breathing, making this just perfect for you. Observing the sensations. And you may notice a little bit of movement in the lower spine and in the neck. Let that be. Just make sure nothing feels forced. Notice how the arm position may have some effect on the sensations and the quality of movement. Also, this movement may have more noticeable effects on the quality of your breath. Pause, bring your torso to neutral, arms relaxed, straighten the legs to the floor, take a couple of breaths, and just feel the sensations from inside. Notice if your torso feels a little bit different than at the beginning, Start bending your knees. Now we'll round and arch the neck, the cervical spine, the top portion of the spine. So bring the back of the neck toward the floor and gently away from the floor. Sometimes there might be a tendency to arch the back of the neck away from the floor too much, so make sure that that's not happening. Feeling the sensations, noticing the difference in sensations at the front of the neck and the back of the neck, also the sides. Observing and breathing. Then find neutral. Then lift your arms up. Cross one arm over the other. Reach with each hand for the opposite shoulder blade. Press with your armpits toward your hips. And then do the same movement with your neck. Rounding and arching. Feeling. So notice how being in this position may have some effect on how your neck moves. Keep the movement smooth, simple, easy. Nothing is forced. We're trying to release tension from the neck. Find neutral. And switch the crossing of your arms. And let's try here turning the head over to one side and over to the other side. Remember to keep gently pressing down the armpits toward the hips to release tension from the tops of the shoulders. Notice as you're turning your head that turning to one side may feel easier than to the other, or that there may be a little bit more movement in one direction than the other. So just try to feel this. Make the movement smooth and easeful. Stay with comfortable breathing. Notice that repeating the same movement tends to have an effect on the neck, on the sensations. Pause at center. And once again, switch the crossing of your arm so that the other arm is on top, armpits pressed toward the hips. And slowly try to turn your head side to side. You can keep your eyes closed throughout the whole practice. Feeling the sensations. So notice that this sequence is trying to help us become aware of the quality of movement in the different areas of our spine. Notice how you are breathing. And when you are ready, return to center, release your arms all the way down to the floor, maybe a foot away from the pelvis. Straighten your legs on the floor. And just allow everything to soften, to relax, and to settle. And stay here for as long as you wish. Savoring this moment, feeling with greater clarity the sensations throughout your body, maybe taking a moment to thank your spine for everything that it enables you to do. Remain in this very relaxed position. And be curious about your breath creating movement in your abdominal area for both your inhalations and exhalations. Notice if your lower back, waist, and abdomen may expand as you breathe in. Notice if those areas contract gently as you breathe out. Stay with this attention, perhaps trying to make your breath a little longer. Making sure that there is no agitation, no unnecessary tension. As you breathe in, invite whatever there is that you need to feel safe, to feel supported, to feel whole, to feel complete. Invite your exhalations to draw away whatever there is that you do not need any longer. The exhalations remove worries, anxieties, fears, regrets. The inhalations bring whatever you need. The exhalations removing whatever you do not want anymore. Stay with this idea. The inhalations contributing to you feeling satisfied. Your exhalations contributing to shed whatever you do not need. The next time you exhale, allow your body to return to its natural breathing rhythm. Notice the effects of the practice. Savor this moment. Namaste.